you're called to people's worst moments of their life, and then you're supposed to just go back and eat supper and watch a movie that you were watching before you left. I'm Trent Mitchell. I'm the fire chief for Lexington Fire Department, and Warriors Rest helped change my perspective on mental health and first responders.
So we got married July of 2009, and he started at Stillwater August. So There was a month in there of, pretending like we were still kids, I think. It's different when you see somebody do what they're really good at, and what they're meant to do.
Whenever I got on the fire department at Lexington, it was right at my 18th birthday. So I got on, I went to a fire academy, and then from there I got hired on at Stillwater Fire Department. I was up there for 10 and a half years. They say the average person that's not a first responder or in the military, sees between 6 and 20 events where their brain goes into fight or flight. And first responders can be well over 1,000. Your brain isn't made to process that like it's another day that I'm walking to the mailbox.
I was an ER nurse for a while, and then with him being an EMS, you see things and you just kind of believe that you're just like, you're born different. You know what I mean? Like you can handle this, you go home and you just handle it, and you don't, you're different from people.
And in my mind, if I could just continue to make money and continue to focus on something different, then that would fix my problems. I was successful in business, and I thought that's where I could find that happiness, and I pursued that 7 days a week and just kind of really built a wall between us. And then once the bottom falls out from everything, and then we found Warriors Rest, and that's where I really felt like I had my footing for the first time. Warriors Rest really supports and really includes the spouses, because they sacrifice and they go through a lot, and they have to watch, you come home and be off your game with your kids or with your spouse. And sometimes they don't understand that. When you come home and you've been on a fatality wreck, or you've seen something that's not normal and your brain's trying to process it. They can, if they don't understand what's happening, they could see that as something that's not. And then once the spouses also understand what's happening and how they can help process that and how they can process it themselves, it's just a game changer across the board.
So our marriage before was struggling, and we felt like we had nothing to go off of, nothing to pull from and ask for help. At Warriors Rest, I got to meet some women, and I got to meet some men who had been through these situations and made it to the other side.
Now, since I've gone through PCIS and I kind of understand more of the mental health side, I make sure that, like, whenever we've had a couple bad calls, I've made sure that we've brought the chaplain in, or there's even a couple of guys that I've requested or encouraged them to go to a Warriors Rest PCIS. And I got a text just the other day that was like, "Hey man, can you meet?" And of course I can.
I think before all of this, I don't know that either of us would have been people that would have gotten text messages that were like, "Hey, can we talk about something really serious?"
We're going on 3 years since the PCIS, and just looking at that point as like the turning point on where we are today, and we renewed our vows, and we've had a whole lot of things happen since then, but they've all majority have been great things. Mm-hmm. We've moved, and our kids are thriving, and just stuff like that you can kind of look back and say, since this point in time was that turning point.
Whenever we separated, there was a lot of stuff going on anyway, but there was traumas and different things that hadn't been dealt with, things that I think would have previously spiraled us. Now we just kind of shake off, stuff that we would have probably let fester until we had some big knockdown, drag out fight or something, made into a big issue when it shouldn't have been. We just we deal with up front, and We still go to marriage counseling, and we still, have the right people in our corner, and stuff that would have absolutely broken us apart and flustered us that we've experienced over the past 3 years since the PCIS. I feel like have only made us stronger.
So I've really tried to build a department where you can come and if you just want to come hang out, if you want to come and watch the OU game and we can be productive while we're doing those things that are fun. And I've tried to make everything that we do kind of have it like a feel of, we're here, we're having a good time, but whenever it's time to switch that switch, it becomes a little different. So, like one of my sayings, and I don't know why I've always had this saying, is everybody wants to be a cowboy until you have to do cowboy stuff. Now, whenever you flip that switch on, now we got to go do cowboy stuff, it's a little different.
I think Warriors Rest helped both of us immensely when it came to recognizing what was healthy and what wasn't. And again, the reason I love it so much is because it's not just for your career, it's for your family, it's for every aspect of your life. You can bring in what we learned from Warriors Rest. And not only that, like the people that you meet, like you have all of these, people that you can call on and people that you run into on stuff. And it helped out every aspect of our lives. And I think, almost 3 years ago, every aspect of our life did change when our marriage was falling apart, and then you're looking at a different family. And then now, looking back 3 years almost, it's unrecognizable in a really good way. And Warriors Rest was a huge part of that.
Warriors Rest really can help all aspects of your life. They don't just focus on things you've seen in the job, which that's one of the main reasons why you're there. But in my EMDR and stuff, we dug into like childhood traumas and things that can affect even your job or your life today, that they give you those resources to be able to help you across the board. And like I said before, they care for you as a first responder and your spouse and your family, and give you those tools. And I'm a numbers guy, so they can tell you, by doing this, by having a hobby, something that you can do, or having an outlet, increases your chance of being healthy in this career by so much, and stuff like that, where you can sit down and go, I'm not crazy. This is, there's science behind this, and it can help you. And that really just kind of changed my life and perspective. And looking back and that being the turning point, I feel like we owe Warriors Rest, something that we can't repay. Since I've been fire chief, we've had like 7 people that's gotten their NREMT, and kind of assisting them in classes and developing them in their roles is one of my favorite things.
I just feel like we can't not mention Warriors Rest whenever we talk about how we got to where we are in our relationship and in our careers.
It's all going to be okay. There's times whenever, you feel like the bottom's falling out from you, that you're like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what this looks like moving forward. But once you kind of get that perspective change, that kind of no matter what happens, that I'm going to have my wife by my side and I have resources to help me, just changes everything about your everyday life.